Last year, of course, has been incredibly difficult for senior members of the British monarchy. That's said without a doubt. The loss of the matriarch, for want of a better word, our wonderful monarch of 70 years, Her Majesty the Queen. And the Queen, was the sort of person that really could, pull things together, make people rethink things. She always had the right knack, a way of words, as we saw with that infamous line, recollections may vary. I've been told, by the way, that didn't come up from a courtier or whatever. It was literally her words. She just simply said them out loud, and that was the point where they said, actually, Ma'am, this is exactly the correct response. And that's what was put out, and it's been quoted so many times. Brilliantly, though, don't you think? But of course, this year has also seen a lot of tragedy. But more importantly, I think for our late and wonderful monarch, it must have been incredibly difficult for her not to be able to seal this particular deal. And she truly believed that she could. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you as ever. Wonderful to have your company. As we saw recently with the Harry and Meghan documentary, the bigger problem that Prince Harry really stumbled across was the fact that he truly felt he was the personal favourite of our late and wonderful monarch. We saw that, didn't we, when he sat down with the NBC host Hodder and basically said, they had a special relationship. And he popped over there, of course, back to the UK to make sure there were the right people around her. If there was anything that truly upset our late and wonderful monarch, it was that remark, because, she'd had a dedicated staff and, of course, a dedicated love and attention from her wonderful close family. So for Harry to say that and disappear thousands of miles away, well, really, where could that possibly leave him? It's also worth noting as well that he truly did believe he was in fact the favourite, because this had been repeated quite a few times. And this could be the reason why the actress' wife, Meghan Markle, felt that she and Prince Harry could really get their own way moving forward, as they wanted to depart to Canada and then back to California. Perhaps they truly thought, well, if the Queen likes us, she will, give in, crumble, and we'll get what we want. Must have been something of a shock. But on a sort of fairer and balanced note, I've been told by a very good source that our late and wonderful monarch, even to the very end, was just despairing, heartbroken at the fact that William and Harry had become so fractured. Now, as we know, she got on incredibly well with the Prince of Wales, Prince William, naturally, because he will become one day the king. And naturally, he spent a considerable amount of time with her, nurturing him in the ways of what would be expected for him eventually in his life. Obviously, Harry didn't have such a close relationship like that. It was more laid back, more fun. But even to the very end, I've been told by a very good source that when she reached out to both Harry and Meghan and suggested perhaps, an informal meeting, a get-together back up at Balmoral for the late summer, they both were too busy. I mean, it's an incredible thing to think, isn't it, that they came over to do that fake royal tour, remember, to Germany and Manchester for the Invictus Games, but couldn't put aside a time to go and see the monarch, even though they must have known that she was looking particularly frail each time she appeared on camera. According to that good source, that would have been one of the many unresolved things that the monarch really did find very difficult to reconcile herself with. After all, she spent a lifetime looking after others, putting others before herself. And she felt, given time, that she could have actually resolved this particular incident. Sadly for her, though, time ran out, and we are where we are now. And that's one of the reasons why, according to that good source, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales feels particularly aggrieved at his younger brother, Prince Harry, for stating so many things, particularly about the Sandringham summit. As ever, as the year draws to a close, it must be difficult to look back on some of the highlights and lowlights, particularly for the British monarchy and in all our lives. But the one thing you have to think about is the time is now. Make the right decisions, because time can simply go away from you. And for Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Prince William, and of course the Princess of Wales, you may have thought, or whatever you may think, our late and wonderful monarch truly did wish to see both the brothers, William and Harry, reconciled. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.